the manager of the Arizona Diamondbacks, former Oakland Athletic, Torey Lovullo, joining us here on A's Cast Live. Always great to have him. As we've been telling people all this time, whenever we have him on, we give everybody the option to stream audio or be on video, since we basically made this a TV show, has always requested that we're on video.
For sure.
My man, how are you?
I got a face for video, 100%.
A's fans love you. Don't worry about it. I like to get the beard. It's been going good, huh?
Yeah, I'm trying to look a little rough, like, upgrade the image to a tough guy. You know what I mean?
Well, I'm going to tell you this. As we were down spring training and we were doing all of our preview stuff, and we were talking about who's going to win this and who's going to win that, I said I have one surprise team in the National League. And I was looking at what the Snakes were doing in the second half of last year, running wild, and we got these new rules, and you got all these kids that are super athletes. Will you admit, Cody, tell him, who was my surprise team in the National League will be who?
The Arizona Diamondbacks?
Oh, hey, boy, he really queued you up for that one. You had to go there. Can you imagine if he said, like, I don't even know, the
Dodgers,
the Miami Marlins? You'd be like, oh, bummer. Wah, wah. Listen, I appreciate that.
The Mets and the highest payroll. What?
Yeah. You've always given us a lot of love.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. We had some lean years here. We had some really lean times, but we knew, you're right, at the back half of last year, some of our younger prospects had been percolating, and they got up here and they performed. They did their job. And it started to translate. We felt very good about this offseason, but it meant working and still teaching and going out there for them every single day. And we're watching the improvements right now. It's been a lot of fun for us.
Well, I remember the interview that we did in 2019 down in San Diego at the winter meetings at the Manchester Hyatt, where we talked so much about the culture of the Arizona Diamondbacks. Every single day, what it's like to be in that clubhouse, what it's like to be on the field, winning all the little things, teaching these guys. And yes, there could be some rough moments, and you went through the rough moments, but you talked about building a winning culture, and you have. You have to be proud of yourself, your staff, and the organization for what you've built, and the fact that everybody believed in it and it's come true.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
You remember that?
I do. I totally remember that. Culture is important. I think when you go out there and it's a cohesive unit and they believe in the same thing, and culture is really about bringing people together for one common reason, and that's to go out and win baseball games and just push forward daily. So it's like starting a new business, right? You take a chance and you do things and say things, and you wonder how somebody's going to respond to it. You back it up with some good thoughts or ideas, and the next he's talking about it. And that's kind of what's going on. We have a couple words in our culture that you don't use every day. It's love, trust, commitment, and effort. You say love in sports, it throws people off. But I was watching the Super Bowl when the Rams won the Super Bowl a couple years ago. Every single player, I think McVay was mic'd up. They went up to him, hugged him, and said, "I love you, coach. I really love you." And I think that's where it starts with us. When you talk about building something special, it's got to be really deep inside of the heart.
Love, trust, commitment,
and effort.
You know what I didn't hear there? Weighted runs created plus, OPS plus, O-swing percentage. All the data does matter.
It does, yeah.
But we're dealing with human beings, and that there's something about human beings coming together. It's more than just numbers.
Absolutely. I love the data. It shows up, and it's real. It's a real thing. But at the end of the day, when you walk into the batter's box, that's a human emotion, and that's controlling what you're doing and making sure you believe that you can do it. And when you have an army of people that are backing you and talking to you, and you build trust and a relationship with, you're going to go up there and feel like you're never alone. And I know the same thing. Wasn't a pitcher, but I've learned a lot about pitching. I'm sure the pitchers feel the same way. Every time they throw a pitch, Brent Strom and Dan Carlson are with them and executing with them.
Brent Strom, when I was growing up in San Diego, the old San Diego School of Baseball, Brent Strom was one of the owners, Alan Trammell, Tony Gwynn. I just think how this guy has been around forever, and no matter where he goes, all the pitchers get better. It's insane.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, it starts with the relationship, and he makes a bond with these guys, and he's a pitching guru. He's got ideas and thoughts that it's just they're bouncing off of his mind all day long, and he comes together with his group of teachers, the other pitching coaches, and they have a good idea to how to make people better every single day. And you're right, it's not any mystery that where he goes, success follows.
So when I think about young players, because we're now dealing with a lot of young players, you've done it for years. What is the key They're going to take their lumps. There's going to be the issues. There's got to be times where you pat them on the back. Other times you got to kick them in the butt.
Yeah.
But what really is the key to helping young players get better?
Always being there for them, being accessible, providing answers. I think one of the things we really believe in is that I ask the coaches to have good content, and I encourage the players to ask why. When I was told to do something when I was a player, it was you did it or else you were out. And I just felt like it wasn't the most creative way for me to go out there and perform. Players are smart today. They're on an information highway. They understand exactly what's going on every single day with them, around them, their friends, their colleagues. And you better find out why when you ask them to do something. Young players are pretty intelligent today. And the bottom line is we got to go out there and execute as a unit. And when we do that, good things happen.
And you look at your division, kind of sizing everybody up. How do you feel about it?
I feel really good. I know that the Dodgers and the Padres are there. The Giants are always very, very lethal. They're capable of winning a lot of games, getting on a string of good moments. And I don't want to discount the Rockies either. They have a huge home field advantage up there. And we just know we got to take care of our business. I'll tell you, the biggest transition for me and us and what we're talking about now is the weight is on us and what's happening in our dugout. At times where we were young and making a lot of mistakes, we'd look across and say, oh my God, we're playing the Dodgers, or oh my God, we're playing the Padres. Now it's like we're in our dugout. We're playing our game against the Padres or the Dodgers or the Giants. And I think our guys are growing up and they're maturing. And it goes back to the main thing, being able to ask why, build that relationship, build that trust, build that bond. It's a pretty impressive unit that we have over there in that dugout.
We've known Corbin's going to be a superstar. We've been reading about him, right? All the prospects. When he signs and makes the commitment, because people can always say, oh, you could have got a lot more. What does that do for your franchise when he signs for the money that he did and he said, you know what, I'm all in?
Well, he's a pretty impressive person. He's a good man. He's a good young man. He's a good human being, and that went into it as well. So we want to build around him for the next 10 years, and that's what it says. It makes a statement that when you're a good player, you do things right, and you have results, and you're projected to be a good player. He hasn't done a lot yet, but we felt like he was on the right course, and I think it makes a commitment to the rest of the guys. Like, if you're the right guy, we're going to build around you, and we're going to keep getting these pieces and get better every single day.
Gallen's not bad, by the way.
I'll go back to that day. We were in New York at the trade deadline in 19, and we were trading Zach Greinke, and all of a sudden that was the main feature trade guy, the trade piece that we had, because we were a little bit over 500 and we weren't pushing towards making a playoff, and we ended up making a run after the trade deadline, which was really impressive. But there was a small little trade that took place. It was Jazz Chisholm for a guy by the name of Zach Gallen. It was very underwhelming and kind of under the radar. Good trade for us.
I think about this stadium. I think about your career. I think about the relationships you built here.
Yeah.
How you kind of grew as a person here.
Yeah.
So it's been a while, right? You don't come here all the time. Yeah. What is it like when you come back to the old stadium?
Well, I answered the question today. I played for a lot of teams, and I tell everybody that it's not that I wasn't good enough. I just was so popular. Everybody wanted me on their team.
Yes.
The bottom line is I was a 26 guy, and I was falling off the roster. But I look back on my year here with such fondness. I had some great teammates, Mike Bordick, Scott Brocious, Mark McGuire, the list, Terry Steinbach. The list went on and on and on. And I still have, they're still my friends to this day. So I cherish that. But when I walk back into the stadium, it's a lot of the clubbies. It's Mikey Thalbloom, it's Brian. It's the ushers that remember me, and it's just I have good fun memories. We had a good team that year. Our pitching kind of fell apart towards the end of the year, but it was a good organization. Billy Beane ran a great organization, and he still does.
Well, I got to tell you, we're rooting for you.
Thank you.
And it's easy. You're in the National League.
Right.
We can root for you, but exciting. I love the athleticism. I love fearless.
Yeah.
Fearless athleticism. It's tough to beat.
I agree. We're in a good spot. I appreciate that.
Thanks for stopping by.
Anytime.